And so when both grandparents passed away, we had these exact conversations of what do we do before the exemption was raised, because it's based off of current land prices. And you keep in mind that family members have paid the property taxes, the income tax to buy the land, all of that stuff has been paid. And then they pass. And now the family's left to hold the bag based on current valuations.
The Small Business Rundown is the official podcast of the National Federation of Independent Business, the member-driven voice of small business. Every 2 weeks, a new episode offers resources for small business owners and information on relevant laws and regulations. NFIB and our members advocate to keep U.S. small businesses strong and independent in Washington, D.C., all 50 states, and the nation's courts.
Welcome to the Small Business Rundown. I'm Tim Goodrich, NFIB's Vice President of State Government Relations. In July, a tax bill passed by Congress and signed by the President prevented a massive tax hike for millions of small business owners by making the 20% small business tax deduction permanent. The tax law also included several other important tax victories for Main Street. Here to discuss one of those victories, the estate tax exemption, is NFIB member and small business owner Greg Niewold. Greg, thanks for joining me to talk about this small business win.
Thank you, Tim.
Greg, before we go forward, can you tell us about your business and what you do?
Absolutely. So I am a fifth or sixth generation family farmer. It goes back far enough that I've actually forgotten what generation I am, which is kind of sad. And based in Central Illinois, and we also own a small manufacturing business making hand gardening tools as well here on our family farm. So we got the American manufacturing and the family farm business all in one location.
That's great. As we get started, I'll give an overview of the estate tax, which is often called the death tax. The estate tax refers to a federal tax imposed on a person's estate after they have passed. Upon the death of a family member that owns a business, the tax is imposed on the heir of the business for all of the assets of the estate. What we often hear from our members is that the estate tax is expensive and difficult to plan for. Small businesses typically need to hire a financial advisor to understand the assets in the estate to keep the business in the family. They have to plan moving forward, and the estate tax results in double taxation. Business owners pay taxes on the estate as they go along already. But when the owner passes, taxes must be paid on the same estate yet again. Sadly, the estate tax is the leading cause of dissolution of a family business. But the good news is, with the passage of the new law, the new permanent exemption rates were increased to $15 million for individuals and $30 million for those filing jointly. So, Greg, now I want to turn to you. Why was increasing the estate tax exemption especially important to your small business?
Yeah, so as a small family farm that is multi-generational, a lot of our land that we own, and we farm approximately 2,100 acres, which by today's standards is not a humongous farm at all, of corn and soybeans, but a lot of it goes back several generations. And so in the last 4 years, both my grandmother and grandfather have passed away. And we all know, if you look at a nice chart of land prices in the United States, prices have gone up exponentially in the last 10 to 20 years. No fault of any farmer. And most farmers are not looking to turn around and sell their ground. They're looking to pass it generation to generation. And so when both grandparents passed away, we had these exact conversations of what do we do before the exemption was raised, because it's based off of current land prices. And you keep in mind that family members have paid the property taxes, the income tax to buy the land, all of that stuff has been paid. And then they pass. And now the family's left to hold the bag based on current valuations. And there's a couple of things that go into that equation too. Is one, you have no idea when you're going to pass. And so if somebody passes away December 31st, the family's got 4 months to figure it out, because Uncle Sam wants their money on April 15th. Now, flip the thing. If they die on January 1st, the family now essentially has 15 months or 16 months to figure that out, because it's the following April 15th. So it's not exactly a fair assessment in that way either. And land prices can go up and down substantially depending on the economy within 6 months, 12 months, whatever the situation may be. So there's so many factors that go into this whole thing. Luckily, we were able to take care of it, and didn't have to sell any ground or anything like that. But the double taxation, it's something nobody can plan for. Honestly, it's extremely unfair in so many ways. If I paid the estate tax based on today's value and land prices crashed like they did in the 70s or 80s, is Uncle Sam going to give me my money back? I doubt it. So, there's a lot of factors that go into it. And I think if it was looked at in, I like to say, a common sense manner, a lot of people would say, yeah, this really doesn't make a lot of sense. And being in the state of Illinois, our exemption in the state of Illinois is $4 million. $4 million for a family business does not go very far. I was in the state capitol a couple of years ago about this exact issue. And a lot of the people in the legislature in Illinois are sitting in Chicagoland. And I said, let's take the example of Bob, who's got the repair shop that was not anywhere in a built up area of Chicago, that started 50 years ago. And the neighborhood loves Bob's shop. And now everything's built up around Bob's shop. I said, his shop may be worth $4 million. It's not Bob's kid's fault when he passes that now they're going to owe estate tax and have to sell Bob's repair shop that's loved by the community. I said, everybody would love it to be there. But I said, the state of Illinois or even the feds want their money because Bob died. And so, that's what everybody in small business is facing. It's not a very rosy picture.
Yeah, and I'm sure whether it's family business or family farm, at a time when you're trying to grieve, paying these taxes is just a double whammy, and I'm sure really hurts.
Well, it does. And I think the other thing in small business that really hurts is a lot of small businesses, mine included, even the manufacturing business, we're asset heavy and we're pretty cash light. So I'm going to have to give up non-liquid assets essentially to deal with the estate tax, which is going to hurt the business. It just is. If I own a concrete business, for instance, what am I going to turn around and sell my trucks in my concrete plant? Then what? Then I don't even have my concrete business anymore, but I paid the estate tax.
Yeah, excellent point. Well, before we continue, let's pause for a quick break.
The NFIB Research Center is introducing the Small Business Employment Index to highlight the health of the small business labor market. This new index shows changes in employment and compensation. The new data complements NFIB's Small Business Economics Trends Report, which is a monthly survey that helps experts better understand the most important economic issues affecting small business. Learn more about this new employment index at nfib.com/jobs.
Welcome back. Before the break, we were hearing about the details of the estate tax exemption. This isn't a new fight for NFIB. NFIB's historically been very involved in fighting for full repeal of the estate tax. For example, back in 2017, with the passage of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, NFIB advocated for full repeal of the death tax. Ultimately, we were not successful in full repeal, but we did get a doubling of the tax exemption. But inflation has now eaten into those gains. So while NFIB continues to fight for full repeal, we're very happy with the increased exemption and permanency rates in the 2025 July tax package. It allows for growth and investment for small businesses. Greg, what does the increase mean for you in the future of your business?
Well, the permanent increase is a huge plus for us. In simple numbers, if you look at farming, and I'll go to the state of Illinois example, which is only $4 million. It's not the federal limit, but at the 4 million state of Illinois threshold, if you figure the average acre of farmland in Illinois is going to sell at $15,000 an acre, you're going to hit the death tax at 266 acres. 266 acres is not even a sustainable farm for one person. It's not even close. You can't live off 266 acres of corn and soybeans or wheat. And so the average farmer is going to go flying through that in the state of Illinois, of no fault of their own. So any raise at the federal level is a huge help, because we all know at the state level, we're still going to get kicked and hard. So the hope is the likes of NFIB will keep up the fight, because it is real. It's not life or death for small business, but it certainly really, really hurts small business the lower this limit is. And I think it hurts growth exponentially, because I used to be a teacher. I used to be a coach. Now I'm a business owner. What is my desire to really grow my business? What is my desire to really try to thrive in business? If I know that if I fall over tomorrow or I get hit by a bus, God forbid, the burden of me striving to do that is going to be left on my family. And I think that's kind of a morbid way to think about it. But what is really my goal and desire to try to really grow and do as much as possible? If at the end of the day, I'm going to end up writing a check to Uncle Sam or the state of Illinois.
There's certainly a lot of issues facing small businesses today. And I'm wondering, as a NFIB member, why did you decide to get involved in this particular issue?
Because it hits home. I mean, that's the short and sweet answer of it, is it really hits home. I can look at it from two different sides. It's easy to look at it from the farming side, but since we also have an American manufacturing company as well, I can look at it from that angle too. And since the administration is so heavy into this American made and American source stuff, that's great. And I think it's vital, because I tell everybody on the phone, and they ask why my product is different than something they can get from a far off land. I ask people from time to time, does your paycheck come from the United States when you get paid on Friday? And we've got to grow business in this country. We don't have a choice. Every one of us in this country depends on business in America. And so for us to be able to grow and to prosper and to thrive and to want to do that, this issue is huge for business owners.
The strength of NFIB is in its membership, and wondering, what would you tell other small business owners about engaging in issues that are affecting their business?
I would tell them it's paramount. And I think people in general would be shocked if they get engaged at the state or national level. I personally was several years ago. I came out and actually made a visit to NFIB, and we went and talked to several House members about a totally different topic regarding intellectual property, actually. And everybody thinks that everybody in DC or their state legislature knows issues. You'd be shocked to know that a lot of times there's so many issues, they don't have a clue. And the fact of the matter is, if you don't write a professional letter, or you don't pick up the phone and talk with, wisdom and knowledge and some heartfelt honesty, nobody's telling them any different. And everybody thinks that everybody, the legislatures know, and it's just their feelings. In all honesty, they really don't know. They don't know, and it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. Like, don't go and blow smoke, but give them the honest, true material. Give them the answers, give them the knowledge, and engage in that conversation, because the ball and the needle is not moving unless somebody does it.
That's so true. Providing that information is just vital to state legislators and to Congress. Well, thank you, Greg. Before we go, is there anything else that you would like to add?
I don't think so. I appreciate this opportunity.
A link to the NFIB website with more information on the new exemption rates is in the episode show notes. If you like this episode, please help other small business owners find the podcast by giving it a rating, like, or review.
Thanks for joining us for this week's episode of the Small Business Rundown. Your continued support helps us amplify the issues that matter most. If you liked this episode, please help small business owners find the podcast by giving it a rating, like, or review. You can find us at nfib.com and on YouTube, X, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook.